right, you're listening to another fun-filled episode of Geek Vice, the official Geek Vice of whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
Whoa, I shouldn't have that playing in the background. Welcome, everybody, to Geek Vice episode 132, proving that, how about we try that again?
As I just said.
Yes, that is pretty much the story of the night. Proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name is Morph. That man is Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
How are you doing today?
I'm extraordinarily tired today. It's been a long day.
I agree. It has been a long day. We've actually been fighting some technicals. I can't even talk now.
Yeah, it's
technical
contagious.
difficulties. Yeah, we're just having all kinds of problems tonight, but nonetheless, we are here and we have some fun stuff for you tonight. Kip, have you been doing anything fun over this last week?
I always do fun stuff.
Yeah, I know you do. What movies did you go see? Did you go see any of the new movies that came out this weekend?
You know, we had every inclination to go see Independence Day this weekend, and we did not. We're planning on seeing it 4th of July weekend, but we'll see how it goes. Did you see anything?
Well, we didn't go see the new Independence Day movie, although my wife said she really wants to go see that, so we'll probably be going to see that here in the near future.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, if not next weekend, maybe the weekend after. It'll probably end up being the weekend after, because 4th of July weekend.
If you plan on going over the 4th of July weekend, let me know.
Okay. I don't know that it will be, because I'm supposed to be going up to my in-laws to help with some house maintenance work, so.
Oh, sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll, after spending all day painting or doing odds and ends stuff around somebody's house, or hell, it could even be outside. I have no idea. I might not be in the mood to go sit in a movie theater. I might just fall asleep, and that's really not a good way to spend $12 a ticket.
Yeah. I spent $12 so I could get a nap.
Yeah.
Nice recliners.
But believe it or not, Morph and his family did go to the movie theater over the weekend.
What?
I know. Can you believe it? We actually went, what did we do? We went yesterday, and we went and saw the new Jungle Book movie.
Ah.
Ow. Hit my arm. And I have to say, after seeing this movie, one, I was a little skeptical that this movie would be good. It's a live action of a old animated Disney movie that I really enjoyed. The original Disney movie. That was a movie that I kind of grew up with as a kid, and it was one of my favorites. And so I was a little skeptical that this movie could be good. But after this, it has solidified the fact that Jon Favreau is one of the best directors to direct movies.
He's a god to you now?
It's more just the sense that when he does a movie and he is given the time and effort to do the movie correctly and isn't micromanaged, he puts out extremely good movies. The first Iron Man movie was all Jon Favreau. That was before Marvel put their fingerprints on everything. And he's the one that lifted the Marvel franchise. If it wasn't for that movie, there wouldn't be a Marvel franchise.
And that was probably, well, it definitely is the best Iron Man movie, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, what he did with this Jungle Book movie was awesome. I was skeptical that you could actually. Well, honestly, I didn't think there was going to be any of the songs, which Disney was big on musicals. They still are. Pretty much all of their movies are musicals. The Jungle Book had a couple of big songs in it. and then you go to movies like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and The Lion King and The Little Mermaid, and the songs that come out of there are almost as popular as the movies themselves. Like they're just musicals. They did movie musicals before Chicago and what was it, Moulin Rouge, and all those supposedly made that genre popular. But in this movie, they kept all the singing in there. They kept the animals talking, but the animals looked realistic. They weren't cartoony. They looked, I don't know if, I'm assuming they were all CG. And there was a couple times where you could kind of tell if the animal wasn't CG, it was an actual animal running on some sort of green screen, and the background was all CG. But either way, overall, the movie worked really well. It was the way they worked in the songs. They only really had the 2 songs in there. They had Bare Necessities and King of the Jungle, which is sung by King Louie, voiced by Christopher Watkins. So that was awesome.
By Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
Now, see, that's worth the price of admission right there.
Exactly. Oh, and it fits so perfectly. And I was trying to think. Baloo, who was Baloo? I think it was Bill Murray. I'm looking it up now. Cast. Come on. Yeah, Bill Murray was Baloo. So you have Bill Murray singing Bare Necessities, which was awesome. It was just incredible. Just the whole movie was good. They did make a few changes, a few tweaks to the movie, but it worked. The way they made the tweaks made the movie flow a little better, made it a little more realistic. Scarlett Johansson voiced Caw the snake, and in the animated version of the movie, the snake is kind of buffoonish, sticks around a little bit too long in the movie. It's kind of more comic relief. But in this one, just sly and devilish, just convincing Mowgli that everything's okay. And they actually even did in the cartoon, in the animated, the snake's eyes would go to that hypnotic, like, spinning circle, and that's how they would hypnotize, the snake would hypnotize Mowgli into standing still, and then it would try to wrap him up. Well, in this one, it kind of did the same thing, but it was able to give the backstory to Mowgli and kind of where he came from, while she's all talking to him and telling him that she'll be his best friend. And you're flashing back and forth, between Mowgli's face and her eyes as she's coming in, and you kind of see the colors of the snake's eyes kind of changing color just slightly, just enough to make it like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. And then the next thing you know, the camera zooms out and Mowgli is just wrapped up in this snake, and she gets ready to go just swallow him whole. And Baloo comes in and just pounces on the snake and cuts to black and goes to the next scene, and the snake's done with. It was great. It was short. It was just enough, but man, that scene was powerful. The scene, the first time you see Shere Khan, played by Idris Elba, the first time it happens, my youngest Conley, who's 4, was sitting on Amber's lap. We're sitting in the back row of the theater, and I'm not sure who jumped higher, my wife or my son. It was just quick, just out of the weeds. Like, you didn't even see anything coming. Then all of a sudden, boom, there's this tiger, and it was great. It was really good. I recommend this movie. It's not going to be in the theater for very much longer. If anything, it's probably, well, right now it looks like it's only got one showing today, and so it's probably going to have even. Um, it's got some more. It'll probably be showing probably this week, and then I'm gonna guess after this week it'll be out of the theaters.
So if
So
somebody hasn't seen the first one, should they see the first one before they see this one?
no, you don't have to. This is the first one. This it's just a remake of it. They basically just turned the animated movie into a live action movie. So there's no need to see the original one. I mean, the original one is old. And trying to rewatch it, it's old. It doesn't look pretty. This one looks really pretty. So this is the Jungle Book for the next generation. Both my kids really liked it. We will probably have this one available for them to flip on here when they want to watch the Jungle Book here at home. So it's this is how you remake a movie for the next generation.
Gotcha. Well, confession time, I've never seen Jungle Book.
Really?
None of the iterations.
Well, you should check it out because it's entertaining.
You were
Even
almost
if you
there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really kind of surprised because I think the original. When did it come out?
I don't remember.
Let's see. 1967.
Oh, well, I can't say it was too old.
No. I mean, that's the thing. This movie was old. It's it. I was surprised on how old it was because I thought it was something that came out.
Be careful what you say about things that started in '67.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I was surprised how old it was. I thought this movie was something from Disney's hit in the, in the 80s, maybe 70s. But I was thinking 80s. I did not realize it was 1967 when this movie.
I didn't realize that either, and maybe I did see it when I was really, really small and don't remember it.
No, could be.
I don't remember seeing it.
But it was. I think the original one was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. But this live action one, spot on.
It's the bee's knees.
Yes, sir.
Excelente.
So that's kind of funny that I went to the movie theater this weekend and you did not. That does not happen very often.
Some worlds must be aligned or out of alignment, maybe. So this probably would have been a good day to stay indoors.
Well, and it's kind of funny that not only did we go to the movie theaters, but we've also almost finished a full season of The Flash. We have one episode left, the season finale, and we were going to watch that tonight. However, my wife has been bugging me. Actually, she hasn't been bugging me, but just about every night she has been like, hey, do you want to watch an episode of The Flash? Sure. So she doesn't always make it through the whole episode because she usually falls asleep. But sometimes she'll make it through one episode and fall asleep wanting to watch the second one. So she has been enjoying them, which I think is really funny because honestly, for the last probably I'm going to say for the last 2 years, maybe even a little longer, she hasn't been into watching any TV shows. She's been reading her books and there hasn't been a TV show that's really sparked her interest to where she's wanting to watch it. And The Flash has kind of locked her in. She even made the comment tonight. She was upset that we're going to be caught up and there aren't any new episodes coming after we watch the season finale. She's like, you mean we're actually going to have to wait till the fall? I'm like, I got some other shows we can watch. It's okay. So we'll have to see what happens, see if I can get her hooked back into some other shows too. But if you haven't seen The Flash, go watch this last season because this last season is awesome.
I've liked The Flash from the beginning. It's just been a solid show.
Have you watched this season?
The first half, I would say.
Yeah.
We had a DVR incident, and then we fell
Uh,
behind, and then we decided we're just going to stream it when it makes it to the streaming services.
right. I gotcha. Yeah, I reckon. I mean, this is really good. It's got its ups and downs. There's points in it where you're just like, oh my god, why can nothing go right? And then there's times where you're cheering them on. I will say that uh, if you don't like death in comic books, you will not like this watch. You won't like the show because this show is very comic book. Um, Nobody is ever truly dead except for Barry's mom.
She's never coming back.
That's like that's like Spider-Man's Uncle Ben. Like
Yeah.
if they come back, then it changes the character as a whole. But in that same sense, there's still scenes where you see him interacting with his mom, and it's usually some sort of dream sequence or something like that. So I guess she's really not technically dead. I guess you still see her, but she's still technically dead. I guess this is a better way to put it. But yeah, it's really good. I'm looking forward. I'm both looking forward to and a little worried to watch the season finale because I was, they usually season finales usually have pretty good cliffhangers that make you really want to watch the next season, and we still got another probably 4 months before the next season starts.
Well, you should have taken your time then, because you got plenty to wait.
Yeah, exactly. I got plenty of shows to catch up on. I haven't watched a single episode of Supergirl or Legends of Tomorrow. I'm almost done with Arrow. I think I'm almost done with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I kind of been jumping around and haven't been watching stuff all the way through, and I think it's starting to throw me off on where I'm at on some of them. But it's a good thing that my Roku tells me which ones I've watched and which ones I haven't. So
Somebody's got to be watching out for you.
that's
Might as well
right.
get keen.
Somebody's got to take care of me.
Which is a perfect segue to what I've been watching.
So what have you been watching?
We were in the show hole, as you see on those commercials.
Yeah.
So we were going to the different streaming services that we have on the PlayStation. And we went to Amazon, since I'm an Amazon Prime member. And, they've got their trailer season or their pilot season where you can watch pilots of certain shows and blah, blah, blah. Well, then looking at that, we saw a show called Humans. And it's British, but apparently it's on AMC. So season 1 happened in 2015. Season 2 is filming now and will be released in 2017. So you have time to catch up. And basically what Humans is a show about artificial intelligence. It's set in a time that looks exactly like 2016. But mankind has developed very human-looking robots. And the big selling point is, and they even say it in the opening credits, do you need help at home? Yeah, basically, you can buy one of these robots and they will take care of your chores and cook you dinner, keep your house clean, drive your kids to school. They look human, all this good stuff. I mean, and the world they've created, they're called synths, and these synths are everywhere, short for synthetics. And, everywhere they go in the TV show, you can tell the people doing the mundane tasks are synths. Well, the guy who created them wanted to take it further. And so he has created 4 that actually take on human characteristics. They can actually think and feel and are very human-like. And so I won't go into what happens and all that good stuff. It has Catherine Parkinson from the IT Crowd. If anybody watches that show, it's interesting to see her in a dramatic role. Outside of that, it's British, so I don't know who 99% of the people are in the show. Don't care because it's well acted, it's well written, but it brings up some seriously tough questions, and it actually approaches human behavior changing because of these robots. So the show's centered around this family. The wife is a high-powered lawyer. She's always gone. Dad's overloaded. They've got 3 kids. So while she's on a business trip, he goes and gets a synth. And it completely changed the dynamic of their house. The kids actually love the synth more than they do their mom, because mom's gone all the time. But the synth is always there, always taking care of their needs. They have a teenage boy, of course. The synth is this nice looking Asian girl, so of course he's all hormonal over the synth. Dad starts falling in love with the synth because mom's home, blah blah blah. Right. So it tackles how human behavior would change because of these things, because of these synths taking over chores that they don't want to do, looking completely human. I mean, they become part of the family. These people don't want to let them go.
Can you tell them apart by looking at them?
They give you only one hint besides the way they move around, and that is their eyes are this unnatural color of green.
Okay.
And the people who portray the synths do a very nice job of acting robotic, but still seeming to be human.
Okay.
Like the main character, her name is Anita, and when she turns her head first, and then her body follows. So it's kind of got that robotic feel to it, and they don't really swing their arms when they walk, but other than that, they completely look human. And so because of all that, it's like having a pet, except for now it's a human. I mean, people fall in love with these things. They make them feel like they're part of their family. When a synth gets outdated, they're supposed to recycle them basically, but they don't. Some people don't want to let them go. They're part of the family. And so that dynamic is really cool that they've tackled. Another thing that they've tackled is the nature versus nurture question. These 4 synths were made to be able to think and feel, but he didn't program it into them. He programmed it so they would learn it as they grew. So he didn't teach them how to play soccer. They had to learn how to play soccer like we would.
Right.
So each one of these synths had to go through, because of some events that happen, they get separated. They actually kind of have to live life apart, and they all have different experiences, and they all have a distinct personality because of that. So they kind of attack it as nurture shapes you more than nature does. And maybe that would be the case with artificial intelligence, but they take that head on, which I thought was fascinating. You know, one of the synths was sold into basically a brothel. She was a sex toy, and she is bitter, untrusting, angry all the time. So it's fascinating that they took that approach.
Sure.
And really took that question head on, which is really cool. But then again, it brings up another point. What makes us human? You know, so they've done the nurture versus nature thing, but then they took it a step further, and I kept telling my wife it's like Dexter. You're not supposed to be rooting for these people because basically, we've seen Terminator and AI and all that, but
Right.
you can't help but root for these robots. And they can feel pain, they can think, they're learning to understand what love is, what being sad is, what being angry is, to the point where the question is really raised, are they now human? Yes, they were made at a plant, but
Yeah.
they have now grown like a human would. Are they as human as you and I are? And it really raises a tough question there. It's fascinating. And so it really makes you think. I mean, there's only 8 episodes in the first season. I think it only took us 2 nights of watching to knock them all out. You just sit there the whole time just tackling these issues in your head.
Has the second season come out yet?
No, they're filming it now. It'll come out
Okay.
in 2017. They added Carrie Ann Moss to the second season, which I've always been a big fan of hers. So, but it's takes off where the first season ends from what I've read. So I'm excited about that because the way it ended, you want to know what happens to these synths. And everything you've seen from Terminator, AI, iRobot, it tackles it in a way that is not so futuristic that it takes you away from it. It's basically an alternate reality. It's today, but these things exist.
Wow.
You can really start to feel like this could actually be happening. You could actually now you're not removed because there's not flying cars and all this. They're actually driving a 2015 model of something.
Right.
It's so close to home that it really makes you think, can human nature be programmed? And if it is programmed, does it not make them human? Or are they human by nature from their experiences? And should we be scared of them? This show makes it look like we probably really shouldn't be. It actually paints it as maybe we should be more scared of the people trying to profit off of these things than the actual things themselves. So
Yeah. Is this just another way for human trafficking type stuff? Or is it human trafficking by selling these people? Is it or do they have the right to, if they don't like their job, to quit their job and go find something they do like?
yeah, exactly.
Do they have the same freedoms that all of us have? The same human rights.
And that was a question that was brought up a ton in the TV show. There are things they don't have rights. Well, if you think and feel, maybe you should have rights. And
Right.
these are the tough questions they made you think about, and it was fantastic. I freaking loved it. It made you uncomfortable at times because you had to re-examine the way you felt about things.
Right.
But it's brilliant. That's all I can say. If you have Amazon Prime, season 1 is on there.
And it's free.
It's free with Prime. Watch it. You will not be disappointed. It will make you think. It will make you feel for these synths. It will make you kind of change the way you feel about some of the characters, because some characters at the beginning of the show, you're like, oh, come on, get with the program. And then they totally get with the program. And the one person you thought was on the side that you wanted to be on flips on you because of some events. And it's a fascinating study in human nature, both artificially created and organically created, we'll say. And yeah, it's one of those TV shows you get done watching, you lay in bed, and you just can't stop thinking about it. It's done that well. And
that is really cool.
Yeah, and it's British, so there's not not as much censorship as there is here. There's a little bit of cursing. There's no nudity or anything like that, but there's the idea of what's going on, and it's just fascinating as hell. It really makes you think about what it means to be human, and I think that's why they named it Humans.
Yeah.
It's just that great. I
Well,
can't say enough about it.
it's done really well on Metacritic. Out of 25 critics, 21 of them had positive reviews on it, and those positive reviews are really positive. I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at stuff in the 80s and 90s, and then on the user scores, with you're looking at 123 ratings. It's got an 8.1 out of 10 from users. So
I am not surprised. It's, in my opinion, it's that good. It's one of the best shows I've seen in a long time, as far as dramatic series.
Yeah.
And because they didn't set it so far in the future, it really hits home. It really does. And it really makes you think, what would my family life, how would it change if we had something like that here?
Yeah.
God knows we could use somebody like that cleaning our house all the time because we did a crappy job. But, they took both tacks. One family had this gorgeous girl that the men are starting to fall in love with. Another family had this beefcake of a guy that the wife basically doesn't feel like she needs the husband anymore.
Yeah.
Because this person, we'll call it, attends to all her needs. And let's face it, she's a woman in her 40s, so really sex isn't on the table anyway. So really, she's getting what she needs, something that will cook and clean for her, completely cater to her needs. She really didn't need her husband anymore. And it brings out all these questions and really makes you think about it. What would it actually be like? How would life truly change? And it's kind of scary.
Yeah. It's intriguing. I'm definitely going to check it out. When you put it in the show notes, I was like, man, I wish I almost made you move it back a week, because I kind of want to watch this. I kind of want to see this series and see what it's got, because this looks really cool.
I think you should watch it, and it could bring up a discussion on the show about artificial intelligence and other movies we have seen. Shoot, can't speak. I need a synth to speak for me. Because there's AI, there's Terminator, there's iRobot, there's Minority Report.
Yeah.
That all make artificial intelligence just pretty much evil. And this does not. It takes a completely different tact, to the point where they're the heroes of the show, in my opinion. My wife didn't agree with it until towards the end, because she was totally like, no, AI is evil, blah, blah, blah. And then towards the end, you can't help but root for these. I'm going to keep calling them people. You can't help but root for these people. And that's how good of a job they've done. You want to call them people. You don't want to think of them as robots. Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'll get off that soapbox, but definitely check it out. If you're wanting to watch something heady, really makes you think and question, that's the show. And you're entertained at the same time. It's not a lot of work.
Very cool. Very cool. How long are the episodes? You remember? Are they about an hour long?
They're like 45 minutes or less.
Yeah, like your standard.
Yeah, because they'll have the fade out to black, like there was going to be a commercial there, but it comes right back on, that kind of thing. So,
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be sure to let you know once I get that watched. Geez, now I got nothing. Now I got nothing.
Now I've ruined it for you.
Well, it's just interesting because this idea, you brought up the fact that you want to root for them and that um, they're that the show doesn't make them out to be the bad guys, but then I would almost say that if they're, that there's that fine line because if you were to hire like, let's say you were to hire a maid that came in, not a synth, an actual human being who came in and cleaned your house, and let's say it's a guy and your wife falls for him and leaves you for that person, you would call that person evil and a homewrecker.
Right.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
And that if the synths are doing that same thing, whether they're choosing to do it or not, like, and that's the interesting part. It's that, well, if they don't understand what they're doing, does it make them wrong if nobody's taught them that that's, or if they're not, if they're not making that approach, if that's just the other people in the house making the approach, is it really their fault? That's a whole nother dynamic that adds to it on whether or not is there really evil, is, or a right and wrong, or is it just that gray area in between? I haven't even watched the show and I've got questions for it. So I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm going to have to do that. It's moving to the top of the list.
Not only that, it brings up the question, and this one to me is a little more broad. Okay, so there's only 4 of them. True 4 of them. There's a 5th person who started off as human and has kind of become more of like a cyborg, we'll say.
Okay.
So truthfully, there's 5. But there's 4 that were created. And their whole thing is they just want to be left alone. They just want to be treated as a human. And the question in my head was, well, that's only because there's 4 of them. What if there was 1 million of them and they've all been treated like this and they kind of come together and it's like, well, now, we're smarter, we're stronger, they've mistreated us, it's time for us to get even.
Yeah, exactly.
Could that, that I could conceivably
it's that mob mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Terminator comes into play. But
exactly. If their numbers are less, then they don't, it's hard to build that mob mentality. If there's only a few of them, once their numbers start increasing, and that, I'll be curious to see what happens in season 2 from that, because now it would be hard to build upon, if depending on the budget involved in this, it might be difficult to bring in, but you could, just this idea, this concept, they could keep it on a smaller scale of, maybe they, the 4 against, start seeing that mob mentality in a smaller scale with 4 or 5, maybe add a couple more to where the numbers become more equal, in a small group, and then maybe showing that mob mentality. I don't know. And who's to say if that would actually happen? Maybe they would be, you talk about the nature versus nurture, but if they, that's the question of, well, if they're programmed to be good, can they be bad? And who defines, that's always the age-old question of who chooses what is right and wrong, who chooses what's good and evil.
Well, exactly. And, they talk about that the robots are programmed with the Asimovian laws where, you can't hurt people.
Right.
It actually says that in the show that those laws are there. They actually can't hurt a person, but
there's that fine line with that. You take the age-old villain mentality of, I'm not that the, what is it, the well, for I guess the most recent one that you could go is the Age of Ultron. You know, Ultron's programming was to protect humans, and his programming through, you know, learning and evolving his program came up with the only way to truly protect humans is to eliminate humans, that you had to protect them from themselves.
Yeah.
You know, so you can swing that same law of, well, you're not allowed to hurt humans, and bend that just enough to say, well, I'm not, in order to save, if to save one, could they kill another? You know, um it's that, it's definitely a question that I could see being brought up, and whether or not they expand on some of that, or if they even bring it up at all. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just wash over it. There's plenty of other topics for them to hit on and different things, but it's definitely an interesting question. And
Well, they attack things in a whole different way, and the mob mentality, those kinds of things are alluded to, which I think is going to be a bigger player in season 2. The only way to save people is to eliminate people question really never comes up, because these synths can think and feel.
right.
I think if they decide to eliminate humans, it's going to be because they were so mistreated that they're like, well, the only way we're going to survive is to wipe out the human threat.
Right.
I could
Well,
see it, I could see it going that way, instead of the best thing for humans is not to be here anymore.
right. Well, but I would be interested, because, you know, you have this idea that these scents, they look, you know, that they feel and they have emotions. And if they start getting attached to the other people that they're with, you know, let's say there's a kid in the family who, um, you know, is, uh, killed in some way, you know, hit by a car, you know, runs out in the street and gets hit by a car, the emotional trauma that's caused by that, how would that affect a synth who has feelings and emotion and has become attached to this person? Would they respond the same way? That, I mean, honestly, if I watched one of my kids get hit by a car, I'd be pretty damn pissed off. And, you know, I can't say that I wouldn't want to beat the crap out of the person who did that. Now you have a synth. If I do that, then there's the psychological defense of, well, he wasn't in his right mind. But with a synth, with programming, could you say that? How could they approach, you know, that type of reaction? Like, you know, you could almost hit that almost human type mindset of synths as police officers, you know, and that how, you know, how they respond to that. Like, this idea could be expanded upon. Hell, this show could turn into your next Almost Human.
It could. It is. They left the door open for so many possibilities on how this can go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you too much, but it could go with, we just have this handful, or
Right.
we could have millions of them.
Yeah.
It could go either way. They could just all decide that they just want to blend in, or because the one is so angry, she may just decide, I'm taking revenge. I am righting all the wrongs that have been done to me in my life. So there's lots of ways they can take this, and they are not giving anything away. It's beautiful. I'm loving it, and you know, it's British, so they've got a story to tell. They're going to tell it, and then they're done. And I'm curious to see what that story is going to finally be when it's all over with. But I'm enjoying the ride.
That's very cool. Very cool. We'll have to see what happens with season 2. We will leave it there because we don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it, like myself or anyone else out there. So we'll just say go watch Humans, and we'll check back on this when the second season comes out.
Absolutely.
So I want to do, we've gone on for quite a while now. I want to throw a couple of plugs out there, a couple of I guess PSAs, public service announcements. I've got a neighbor of mine. I posted this. I believe I posted it on Facebook. Maybe I didn't. It'll be in the show notes for here. A neighbor who is a friend of my kids. He's 12 years old, and he has started a YouTube channel where he is putting up stop motion videos. And, I think it's awesome that he's doing it. I think it is great that he has found something that he enjoys doing. And I love the fact that he's sharing them with the world on YouTube. None of his videos are very long. They're all under, I think all of his videos are under 30 seconds long. So, and he's just starting. There's not a whole lot there. But I definitely recommend checking out. His YouTube handle is Fright in the Night 88. And night is like knight in shining armor, not nighttime.
And then when you're watching these, you have to remember a 12-year-old put these together, and they're pretty impressive.
Yeah. I don't know how to do any of them. I'm not sure that I could. I'm not sure I would even know where to start. So the fact that he's doing this is awesome. And so he's done a few of these videos. I'm sure, his parents are kind of bugging him about trying to put together an actual story and maybe tell a story and a whole series into it. So I'm definitely going to be following along. He is also a subscriber to the Geek Vice YouTube channel. So I'm throwing his name out there, tell you to go over there, like his videos, subscribe to his channel. Just because it's kind of cool, and anything to support a kid trying to do something that he enjoys doing, more power to him. So go check out Fright in the Night 88, and that's night with a K. The other PSA that I want to throw out there is I have finally tweaked everything that I need to tweak on my computer, so I can start recording some new Geek Vice gaming videos. I'm hoping that the quality of these will be a little bit better, and the gameplay of them will be a lot better than the Sticks gameplay, because I won't suck so bad at this game. So I've got Assassin's Creed Rogue that I've started playing. I've got a few episodes in the bag. Recording these on a weekly basis. So you'll start seeing some episodes on Geek Vice Gaming for probably on Thursday. I'm gonna have them be our Thursday episodes. So you've got our live recordings on Monday. You've got the podcast that comes out on Wednesdays, and we're going to have an episode on Geek Vice Gaming come out every Thursday. So my goal is to get through the entire game of Assassin's Creed Rogue. So it'll be a let's play of Assassin's Creed Rogue from start to finish.
Nice.
So go over to our YouTube channel and like our page or subscribe to our page, like the videos. The more views and likes and subscribers that we get, the more stuff we can put on there, the more the more popular we become. Popularity allows for more viewers, which allows for us to get cool things on our website or on our YouTube channel. We can get interviews and different content. We can get, who knows, maybe we can get first dibs on some stuff and get some exclusivity. It would be kind of cool to just show you some stuff before you could get it yourself. So go help us out by subscribing to our channel and liking our Facebook page. I still have some games to give away, so we're still running that contest. We got a couple more likes, I think, on Facebook. We've gotten a few, or on subscribers on YouTube. I think we got a couple on Facebook too, so we still got to get a few more to get there. I believe it's 115 on Facebook is what we need to hit, and 20 subscribers on YouTube, and I will give away a game to a random subscriber or liker.
Yeah, we're not whores or anything.
No, we're not trying to sell our services. This is all free content. So if you like us, if you like what we're doing, let us know. Comment on our videos. Hell, I'll just take a comment of someone telling me I suck.
Well, I'll send that to you right now.
Kip's going to go on every one of the videos and just write, more if you suck at playing video games.
Yeah,
and who knows?
We're only one subscriber away on YouTube.
Holy crap.
For people to get a free game.
There you go. So, you know, and I guess, you know what? If we get enough subscribers on YouTube, maybe Kip will actually start recording his Call of Duty sessions, and we can see him going crazy with maybe some super epic battles where he goes like 50 kills and without dying.
Yeah, that's never happened. Actually, me playing Call of Duty would be like high comedy. You would like people would be watching that going, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Is he playing with his eyes closed?
Hey, if it makes people laugh, then maybe more people will watch. You never know.
You never know.
People like, I don't mind watching people fail at playing first-person shooters because it makes me feel better about myself. So there's other people out there like me.
Well, definitely. If winning was that important, I'd never play the game because it's just the way it works out.
Yeah, exactly. So you can also follow us on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Google Plus and Facebook. Just go search for Geek Vice. Facebook.com/Geekvice.
Do that search for Facebook. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I am toast. I'm done. I'm ready for bed. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Geek Vice. You can follow that guy at Kip Killigan. And of course, as always, you can email us at geekvice@gmail.com and tell us what you don't like about our shows. Maybe tell us to get some sleep before we record so we don't sound like rambling idiots. Or we can actually
the power nap.
or we can actually talk in complete sentences.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Speak English. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next week.
Laters.